So instead, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a couple stories about my career thus far, a couple things that I've learned. Maybe it's useful for you, maybe it's not. You can let me know afterwards. But I actually thought I'd start with the whole way that I got into tech in the first place was actually through an internship. Maybe I guess that's how a lot of people get into it. My path was a little bit different. I used to live on the East Coast. Went to high school on the East Coast in Virginia. You maybe from Virginia? All right. Well, anyway, my junior, senior year of high school, I worked in this coffee shop making lattes. I can make a pretty good latte, or at least I could then. I don't know about now. It's been a while. But anyway, I would get to know customers from this coffee shop, and I got to know this guy, Jason. Jason had a little tech company across the street. Like, this is like 1995, 1996. I say a tech company, they were doing like enterprise email install systems, like before the internet, really. Anyway, I got to know him a little bit. Then my senior year of high school rolled around, and it turned out they had this program where, like, if you got an internship, you could go to school in the morning, and then you could go to work in the afternoon and do a little bit less school. And that sounded pretty good to me at the time, because I was like not really big into high school. So, of course I go to Jason, this guy, and I'm like, hey man, you should give me an internship. Like, I can do great stuff for your company. And of course he said, like, no, you can't, you don't know anything about computers, which was true, that's completely true. And he turned me down. And, but I'm like a pretty persistent guy, right? So I kept after Jason over and over and over again, and persisted until finally I got him to agree on one condition. I could have the internship to work at his tech company if I also agreed to answer the office telephone and be the receptionist. Which I said, okay, that sounds good. So I got the job. Maybe like the takeaways, you know, if there's a moral to that or whatever, is like, it's okay to be a little shameless sometimes. Is that working? Oh no. Hold on, I guess you got that. Oh. Alright. It's okay to be a little shameless sometimes. People are not just going to give you stuff. Like, you have to, like, go get it, even if it's embarrassing, even if you feel kind of silly. I felt kind of silly and embarrassed when I was going after this guy. But thank God I got that internship, because I have no idea what I would be doing right now if I hadn't gotten it. So that's maybe, like, the first thing I think about. The second one is, like, don't be afraid to do a little bit of shit work. Like, when I took that job, I was like, this internship, like, answering the phone, like, I'm here to learn about tech, like, answering the phone is shit work, whatever. But after I did it, like, answering all those calls, like, it taught me a lot about talking to people and, like, talking to customers, and I think I got a lot out of it. So, like, don't be afraid to do a little bit of shit work. So the story continues a little bit from there. I think I'm gonna get a new microphone. Technical difficulties. Oh, that sounds a little better. All right, so the story continues from there. So that startup company that I was working at, or in that little tech company, I went back after my internship. It turned into kind of more of a startup company. And we started getting involved in the web search space, because that was interesting at the time, 1997, 1998. And then one day, this incredibly hot, like the hottest tech company in the world, reached out to us and said, like, we're thinking about acquiring you. And that company was Alta Vista. Yeah. Anybody remember Alta Vista from history class?
Oh my gosh.
Some people. All right, well, anyway, it turns out that Alta Vista actually went ahead and acquired us, which was amazing. And that was kind of like another moment for me where I think I had to make a choice about whether I was going to go to college or whether I was going to move to the West Coast and join Alta Vista. And I felt like that was one of those moments where, like, something comes along in life and you either feel lucky, like you're like, this is something lucky happening to me, or you see it as like, oh, this is a problem that I have to solve. And I just thought it was like something so lucky. So I decided to move to the West Coast and do it. And then I ended up staying in tech kind of from then on out. And maybe the point there is, I think luck actually really matters. Luck matters in careers, it matters in life, and like, I think if you're not looking for the times that you're lucky, you might miss it. So pay attention, like look for when you're lucky. All right, what else do I say? Internships. I think the number one thing, you're probably gonna hear this from lots of speakers today, but I think the number one thing that you will get out of your internship is the relationships that you make while you're while you're in the internship. So I would encourage you, do everything that you can to get like one layer deeper with people, like become friends with people. What you want to get out of your internship is this group of people who want you to succeed later on. When I think about the 4 or 5 like programmers that I worked with at that company that got acquired, like over the years after that, they gave me so many opportunities that I probably didn't even really deserve. And it was because they wanted me to succeed and because we had established like a close relationship. So get great relationships out of your internships. All right, I'm going to tell you one more story. And this one's a little bit sensitive because it involves one of the sponsors of today's event. So I'll be cool about it, all right? But I'm going to start the story with the moral to the story. The moral of the story is, make sure that one day, whatever company you join, make sure that your company is working as hard for you as you're working for it. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. And I swear, this is no disrespect. I worked at Yahoo for 7 years. They were a darker 7 years than where Yahoo's at today. They've done some really amazing stuff in the last few years. So no disrespect, but those years were tough. I started at Yahoo as a back-end engineer on email search, like in the guts of Yahoo email. And 7 years later, I was the VP of engineering for Yahoo Mail. I was running the whole team, like 200 people reported to me, and I felt really super successful and awesome. I shit you not, I had a corner cube at Yahoo. That is a cube that has 2 windows. Yeah. Anyway, so 7 years in, I feel like this total badass at Yahoo. I'm like, look at all this stuff I've accomplished in my amazing career. It's incredible, I'm a VP. And then I go to leave Yahoo, right? And I'm going to go work at Facebook because I'm really excited about Facebook and it's time for a change. So I go from being a VP of engineering at Yahoo with 200 people in a corner cube to being an engineering manager at Facebook in boot camp surrounded by new grads. And that was like probably one of the best career decisions I ever made. And like when you look at it on a resume timeline, it does not make any sense, right? Why would you go from being a VP to an engineering manager? Well, it turns out that over that time, Yahoo wasn't working as hard for me as I was for it. The VP of engineering role at the time was not super well respected by the engineering, by the broader industry, and so that's why I had to take a step down to go to Facebook. But the reason it was the best career move, I think, is because there was like this moment where I had to just totally shed my ego. You know, I had to just be like, get rid of all this stuff that I've built up, all this, like, I think I'm a badass at Yahoo or whatever. I had to just like let it all go and go rebuild it up again at what was a better company at the time, Facebook. And I think that like, when you shed your ego and you like start approaching things in a much more humble way, you open yourself up to learning. And I feel like I learned a ton in those 2 years that I was at Facebook. And I also think that when you shed your ego and you sort of approach things from a humble place, people will gravitate to you and they want to help you later on. So look for opportunities to shed your ego, I would say. All right, last thing I'll say is, again, something that everybody's probably going to tell you tonight, is, you know, you all are going to be the next group of people who come in and do cool shit in the tech world. So this is going to sound pretty obvious, but like, do something that matters. I went to Airbnb because I wanted to work on something that I felt like really mattered. And, you know, I see Airbnb as this company that like enables all these people to live a better life. It puts all this money in people's pockets so that they can like make their rent, or so they can stay in their home, or so they can do a different lifestyle. It helps all these